My point is, like, the alternative was you trying to fix it or amputating the leg. You absolutely should try and fix it.
Yeah.
You could totally fix it. I think that's so important that you have the ability to create a moment for someone. Even though it's in the most difficult situation, you still have the potential to create an awesome moment for them. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable, the podcast where we answer your veterinary-related questions while having some fun along the way. If you enjoyed today's episode or a previous episode, be sure to leave us a review on your podcast provider of choice. And if you have any feedback to offer to improve the Veterinary Roundtable, let us know.
Bada boom, bada bang. Follow us on socials while you're at it. Instagram and TikTok at the Veterinary Roundtable. We have a YouTube channel now where all of our video podcasts are published. It's the Veterinary Roundtable. And we have a great guest podcast episode coming out soon. Dr. Brian Song from Periovive. Or at this point, it could already be out, I guess.
So check it out.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Good product. Go learn about it so you can use it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm Dr. Ashlyn Duckwall.
I'm Courtney Allen.
I'm Emily King.
We said we were not going to introduce what we are because you should already know.
I know, but it just sounds like it should roll off the tongue. It just rolls off the tongue. And this is the Veterinary Roundtable.
I'll say it again. The ladies in red.
The ladies in red.
Here we are.
Okay.
Here we are.
Pits and peaks. Oh, dear.
I'll go first.
Okay, great.
I thought about this today because of our situation.
Okay,
so my pit is... I'm working on this project, and because as you guys know me really well, I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I'm working on this project, and it's just taking forever. And I'm just like, I just want to hurry up and get it to like this other point.
Yes.
And it's just, and I get why it's taking so long, but at the same time, in my head, I had the idea that it was going to be done.
Oh.
And so now I'm like, I'm just got to slow down.
You got ants in your pants.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, let's go. And we can't.
I was going to say, let me guess, it's out of your control.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
And the person's doing a fantastic job. And I understand the logic behind what they're doing and why it's taking long. But at the same time, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm itching to get it done.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So you got to do some little minuscule hobby while you wait. Go start a garden or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because she has time for a garden.
I mean, something that's like not a full entrepreneurship thing.
Another little thing.
Doesn't cost a lot of money.
Okay.
You got to like occupy your little hands and your brain.
She is occupied. Courtney's like, don't give her anything else to do.
Well, I mean,
she's like, I got a memo from Richie. Don't give her anything to do. No, I get your point. I should just focus on something else.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
It could be go paint a wall in your house. Redecorate a room.
Okay.
Rearrange a room. You don't have to redecorate.
Oh, I love rearranging rooms.
So do I.
See?
Yeah, okay. That fits. I like that.
Just do it little by little. And then before you know it, you're like, oh.
I did 2 projects.
Yeah.
Okay, look at that. Yeah. Okay, that's great advice. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Glad I shared that. My peak is that we're getting ready to travel to Europe and
that's so exciting.
Go on the Disney cruise, which is like a bucket list thing. And we're going with my older sister's family, which will be a lot of fun. She has 3 older boys and they're bringing their families. And so it's this big thing. And
that'll be so fun.
I am so excited to go because my kids have never been to Europe. I grew up in Ireland for 2 years and went to several places when I was young. But we're going to Italy, which I've never been.
I would love to go to
Italy.
Awesome.
So we fly into Rome and then go from Rome to Greece. And we go to several cities in Greece, which
so
I could potentially never come back from Greece.
Oh my gosh. It's
we'll
going to
miss
be
you.
so amazing.
Okay. But you would come visit.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. Doesn't it look amazing?
Yeah.
It looks,
Just
oh my
think
God.
of the pasta you're going to eat in Italy.
Oh
my gosh. I cannot even.
And my grandfather is
really
from
good.
Italy. So like, I just feel like I'm going back to my home country.
Yeah. You sound like Charles, who's like a small percentage Italian. He's like, I'm Italian. We need to go.
We need to go, baby. So we're going to go to the Vatican. I'm Catholic. So we're going to the Vatican.
New Pope. What up, Leo?
New Pope from America.
Yep.
It is just like, it's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm excited for my kids to see it. I've never been on a cruise. So, I don't know what to expect. Huh?
What kids are going?
Everybody but Harrison and Madeline and the babies.
Okay.
Because we didn't know how old the babies were going to be. And so then we were like, that could be like, one, you're not allowed to take babies under 6 months.
Oh.
And so it was like 2 like close to
That
when they were
sounds
born.
really stressful anyways. Like
Yeah.
that gives me heart palpitations of taking a small child
Yeah.
all around there.
Let alone
Well, on an airplane for like that, like, I don't know. Yeah, there's so much. Like, I don't know if you could enjoy it, you know? So when they're 2 or 3, though, on the Disney cruises, they have all these clubs they go to and do all these things. And so I'm so excited because Calvin's going to be able to just go.
Yes.
Go. You can have the run of the ship.
Yes.
Here you go. Have at it.
Yep.
So it should be really fun. Really look forward to it.
Good.
I have no idea about traveling to Europe and all of that. And I guess
be
I'll just
fine.
learn it as we go.
Mm-hmm.
So
You'll be
there's
fine.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be fine. You got Richie.
I got Richie.
He'll handle everything.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay.
Okay, well, I guess I can just ricochet off of that and say my peak is that I'm traveling the next 2 weeks coming up, so that's fun.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Sedona.
Nice.
I'm really
Nice.
excited. And then I'm just going to Michigan.
Sedona, Michigan.
Yes, Michigan.
It's just for a bachelorette trip, so it's, but
Michigan's
it's gonna
great though.
be
There
really
are parts
fun.
of Michigan that are really cool. Where are you
Yeah,
going?
we're on the beach somewhere in
Okay.
like an Airbnb.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be it's just a girls trip.
Nice.
So it'll
Heck
be really
yeah.
fun. And it's time away that I get to have, and I feel like I haven't
With your girls.
I haven't had time away in a long time. So, and bachelorette trips are always just so fun.
Fun.
Like,
That
it's
sounds
just,
great.
Yeah, just pure girl time. We have a wine. One of the days is dedicated to a winery
Fun.
that has like one of those
Yeah.
buses or what. So it'll just be, and then one day is like a beach day / like check out the little towns. So I'm just really excited. And yeah, I can't wait to see Arizona. I'm really excited to go to Arizona.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
It's so different than Indiana, clearly.
I'm
but
excited
it's like
to
all
feel-
brown.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, and it has like scenery and it's not just flat.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the flatness.
See,
I don't want the
like
flat.
the brown. I don't like the desert.
Oh,
no,
I love
I'm not
it.
a brown person either.
I'm not
Oh,
a
I like
brown.
it.
Yeah.
But so I'm excited.
That sounds like fun.
I don't have a pit.
It's good.
I don't think I have a pit. Not that I can think of right now.
That's good. It's a good week without a pit.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. My pit is that I gifted Charles the Pacers game.
That's right. How
Yes.
was that?
So
I mean, I know the game sucked, but
well, we just Pacers.
we just
No,
threw it
that
away.
It didn't look
No,
like the same
you know
team
what happened?
who's been playing.
The NBA said we want more money,
Yep.
so throw the game,
Yep.
so that we can have more money in the
Yep.
city, and then it goes longer. So
Yep.
that's what happened. They were up by 20,
Yep.
doing
I
great.
agree completely.
and they also didn't look like the same team who's been playing. Like,
No,
there's
and they looked like they were just completely cocky.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really care.
Checked out because
Checked out.
some higher power told them, "Hey, don't forget all the money you can make with more games." Or we can make.
Harrison told me a
I'm
statistic
convinced.
that Harrison, what's the statistic?
The Pacers have lost every game 3 in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Charles said that. He's like, we're going to go and they're going to lose because it's game 3. And they shouldn't have lost. But it was still super fun. We got there so early because we didn't know with the race day traffic how it would
sure.
be.
Mhm.
So it was just hilarious how early we were there. And then we were sandwiched between Knicks fans.
Oh,
There was a row of buddies. I think it was like 5 or 6 of them on Charles's side. And then there was 2 next to me that were at the race that day as well. So
That's
they were
impressive.
hammered. I know. They were gone. They were I didn't interact with these people, but to the left of us, they were super nice. It was like a row of them and then another 6 of them down further. They were high school people or buddies. Well, they weren't in high school, like 10 years ago, high school. That's what they said. And they flew in 2 hours prior from New York to go to this game, and they were flying that night home after the game.
those are diehard Knicks fans.
Yes. The dude that sat next to Charles, his name was James, learned all about his life. He had just gotten a Aussie Bernedoodle.
oh
That's
Lord
good.
help us.
Aussie doodle.
Mhm.
When he said that, I wanted to vomit. But I was like, he showed us a picture. Oh, it's so cute. And they were besties. And then when they were down by 20, James was like, I'm going to get in trouble with my friends if I keep talking to you. And then their friends they all switched seats and stuff to make, because they thought it was like a, superstition thing.
and it worked.
And
Damn
it worked. Well, it worked. Whatever. So, I mean, they were not, it wasn't like, sometimes I get stressed. I'm like, please don't like fight or get overheated. Like, Charles never does that. And these dudes were nice and it was just fun.
Charles could talk to anybody though.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was almost like I was by myself for
Yeah.
the game. And I'm like, are you going to be doing this the whole time? Like,
Hello, I bought the tickets for you.
yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
that was, I guess, a pit was that they lost, but it was fun. A good time out, date night. And the peak is that I got Helen on her pony. She rode our pony, Jazz, and it was so cute. She was so happy.
Oh, she liked it?
Yes. I thought she was going to get really scared.
Yeah. Just the height. You know what I mean? Like
Well, and Charles, it's so nice because he's so tall. It's like he's right there with her, right? Holding her. And her face, we have a video when we started walking because she wanted to walk, not just sit. And she was like, oh. And then she's like, again? So we walked around our yard and it was just so like,
cute.
it was just so sweet. It was
Pure.
so sweet. Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I love it. That's amazing.
Kids are the best.
They really are.
They're so fun.
Okay.
I have a surprise icebreaker.
Oh, okay.
What?
Are you ready?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. I'm so excited. Okay.
Okay, Mom, kick it off.
Oh, you know about it?
I don't know the icebreaker.
She doesn't know about it. I just did that to be funny. Okay.
I'm like, is it in our text?
I thought the
she's
same
in
thing. I
on
was
it.
like, I didn't read anything. What are we doing?
Icebreaker.
Okay.
Okay. You're now the CEO of a potato chip company.
Oh, dear.
What's your first flavor launch?
What in the world? I have to think on this.
What's your first?
Something spicy faux show. I love jalapeno chips.
Oh, so do I.
So,
I don't.
like a red pepper, cayenne pepper jalapeno chip.
Mine would be a jalapeno with puri puri. You know
the heck
that's
is
like an
puri
Indian
puri?
seasoning.
Oh, okay.
Huh, I've never heard of that.
And we have Holden has a friend, and when they at McDonald's they give you this seasoning in India that's called puri puri. That's what we call it. I don't know if that's really what it's called. Anyway, it's a packet of seasoning, kind of like salt and pepper, right?
Yeah.
Well, they use it on their fries there, and so when he comes back from India, he brings back all these packets. Well, it's spicy, and so you put it in the jalapeno chips, and it makes them even better. So that would be my flavor: jalapeno and puri puri.
I would get the red pepper flakes you put on pizza and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I would mash it more so they're more fine and put that on chips. That's what I
Okay,
would.
we might have to bring our said bag of chips
And put it in there.
to the episode, the secret bag episode.
I don't think
yeah.
I can bring mine because I would make mine Korean, like my favorite Korean meal. The taste
Kimchi
of
chips?
it. For listeners that don't know, I am part Korean, okay? And my grandma's full South Korean, but there is like a specific meat. It's just a whole bunch of side dishes and everything else. But the one like perfect bite that I make,
Yes.
if I could make that taste into a potato chip, I would eat 17 bags.
Okay, well, try it. I want to try it.
I physically don't think I
yes,
can
you
make
can.
that.
Call
No.
your grandmother.
No, it's not because it's like, okay, I make like a lettuce. Okay, so I have a piece of lettuce.
Okay.
And then I put gochujang on it, which is a sauce.
Okay.
And then I put rice. And then I put bulgogi, which is a marinated steak. And then I put kimchi. And then I eat it all. How do you put all that into a chip?
You just add the chip.
Yep. Amen. Exactly. So you bring all of that, and then
that is
it's going to sit on a
Yeah.
potato
Yeah.
chip,
'Cause-
and then we're
yeah.
going to eat it.
That's my
Yes.
death row meal. Ugh. I love Korean food.
That sounds really delicious.
It does. My mouth is watering.
We should all go to Korean one time.
Okay.
Go
There's
to.
one right down the street is really good.
There is a good one.
Right down the street from the clinic.
Okay.
But you can only go during lunch. That goes for any Korean restaurant. If you
Right.
go for dinner, it's like, I mean, like Jacob and I for lunch, we could eat there for like $40-$50. If we go for dinner, we spend $120 just us two.
Wow.
Oh.
Like all Korean restaurants are like that. Their lunch specials are like dirt cheap, and then dinner is dumb
More
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Lunch.
Okay.
So maybe after an episode, we'll go to Korean
I was
restaurants on
going
the
to say,
street.
that sounds great.
Because then I can order for you.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
we could just try a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff.
Oh, I love Korean food.
Let's do it
Okay.
next week.
Okay.
We're going.
Okay.
Okay.
Plan for it because right we're
Yeah.
doing next week, June 5th, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
here. Yeah. We're
right.
here.
I totally want to do it, and we're going to take videos while we're there. Are you guys up for it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Heck yeah. And
Okay.
we can get
We'll
spicy,
report
not
back,
spicy.
folks.
And Harrison, you could come.
Yes, and we'll report back as to what we purchased and
Okay.
ate and tried, liked, didn't like,
Yeah. Okay.
and then we'll let you really know whether or not we can make it into a chip.
I can teach you how to construct the perfect bite.
Okay.
Can I talk to you guys about a chip that I discovered this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I thought of this. We went to Buc-ee's.
Oh,
Wonderful
Buc-ee's is so fun.
establishment. Wonderful establishment. Don't know how it was created, but it's wonderful. You go in there, they have so much food, and they have chips as their side or one of their sides. They have a chip that's called Bold and Blended, and it's every single flavor they have. So it's jalapeno, barbecue, salt and vinegar, normal. It is.
I bet that would be good.
It is delectable.
Wow.
Is it the only? It's made by Buc-ee's.
Yes.
Did you bring us
now
some?
I gotta stop and
I
go
did
to
not bring
Buc-ee's.
it.
I
I was
avoid
gonna say.
Buc-ee's because it's so crowded.
Oh.
It's very hyped up.
Was it crowded, Harrison, when you came back?
Oh, it's always crowded.
It's always crowded.
Was it though? Was it like crowded to the point
It's
of
like a
being
mall.
like you can't get in and get stuff in a
No,
timely
you
manner?
can. I mean, you
I mean,
can
it's
go
so
in there.
big. Even if it's busy, you can still go in. But like, oh my god, it's like a mall. It looks like a mall in there. The amount of
Wow.
stuff. Have you been in
I've
one?
never
No.
been in one.
The amount of stuff that is in a Buc-ee's is like anything you can possibly think of. They have it. They have a whole wall of just pickled stuff alone.
Mom, when you're walking to
Like
the bathroom,
pickled-
there's literally merch in the bathroom that you can buy.
Yeah. Like the amount of stuff they have in there is, and they have like a whole section of like house decor, like farmhouse house decor
Oh my
that you can
gosh.
shop. Like you could get everything you need ever in a Buc-ee's.
You want a portable grill? Buc-ee's has
Right.
got you. You want
Okay,
an
listen. When
inflatable
we all
pool?
go to the lake weekend,
Yes.
we're going to Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's
Okay.
is insane.
When we road trip, we go to We stop
Yes.
at
we
Buc-ee's.
should get
Yes.
every
and
single.
we also take videos.
we should
Okay.
get every single pickled thing they have in.
Oh my gosh,
Because
that'd
like they
that
pickle,
would be
they
hilarious.
pickle everything, everything you can think of. They have it in pickle form.
Oh my gosh.
And they have
That
they have a
sounds
whole line of
concerning.
hot sauces. Jacob, my dad, got some when we went there last year, and they were really good.
Their barbecue sauce is so good.
I mean, their stuff
Okay.
is,
Wow.
but like the can.
Okay.
I mean,
We're missing the boat
it's
here.
it's very overwhelming. I don't think I saw half the store. That's how big it is.
sometimes they have a Buc-ee's statue outside of the front.
Wait, I took a picture in front of it.
Did you take a picture with the baby?
Yes, we did.
They also have
Oh
a
my
mascot
God,
walking
too
around
funny.
too.
Wow.
The squirrel or the chipmunk or whatever it is,
It's
a beaver.
commitment. Okay.
Buc-ee's is an experience.
Wow.
So we're gonna have to plan ahead so we have enough time.
Okay. Because
All
we'll
right,
have to
wait,
like
wait,
cut.
hold on the while we're on snacks. Sorry, Buc-ee's is just so good. They have these popcorn, these like snack. It's a snack from Buc-ee's. It's of their own. It's their own. They make
I know what you're
it,
talking about.
and they make their own. It's like popcorn, like nuggets or something.
Yeah.
and it's like corn puffs, but they're caramelized.
Aren't they called
Guys.
Bucky Nuggets or something?
Bucky nuggets. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
so good. Oh my god.
Sounds like Bucky's like little,
We will if we want to
poop
check
nuggets,
out the whole
like,
store.
like the beaver.
We'll have to cut out like an hour and a half just to look at everything.
Wow.
Like
That
it's
sounds so stressful.
it's stressful, but it's
I'm
fun.
gonna be very pregnant by that point.
And we'll also
You
spend
are.
a lot of money.
You'll
What?
need to stop because you'll need to pee, so it'll
That's
be
true.
fine. It'll
And
be
I'll
perfect.
be hungry for
and you'll be hungry.
That's
for
where we
snacks.
stopped and took Miles on the way to our honeymoon because they had a dog park thing at the gas station.
Okay.
Sounds like they're everything to everyone.
It's a big deal.
It is a big
we just
deal.
got a Wawa.
I know we did get a Wawa. I have not been in
Apparently,
it.
the
You
East
can't
Coast
even
people
go in
love
there.
it.
It is so busy, and I'm like, come on, it's
The
a gas
Wawa is
station.
already?
Yes, Jacob and I,
Wow.
because Crew Car Wash is right there.
Right?
Because we shop at that Meijer. That's our
Right.
grocery store. And then Crew Car Wash, we go there. We went there on Monday to get my car washed. And there, I kid you not, I don't know. Our suspicion is that they were out of towners passing through and they decided to stop at Wawa. There was a group of like 12 people lined up in a circle on lawn chairs in the grass area of a gas station. I'm like, it's not a rest stop. Like you would because the tucked away rest stops on the highway that are in the woods,
Yeah.
sure, set up camp. No, they were set up at Wawa in the middle of a busy that's a busy intersection.
Yeah.
That's not.
And
a
they were just
very
having
comfortable
lunch.
place.
Like what is happening?
What is happening in 32 in Westfield, Indiana?
Like it's not that deep.
Bring
at
in
the
the
gas
Wawa.
station.
Bring it on the
No, I
Wawa.
haven't been in
Makes
there
people go crazy.
Because it's
This
too
makes them
busy
go
for
crazy.
me. There's too
Okay.
many people.
All right, well, that's like another place we need to go. Now we have 3 destinations or
Yep.
3 things to
Korean,
go.
Buc-ee's, Wawa.
Wawa. Okay.
Catch the
quite the
vert there.
list.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I think it's me.
Yeah.
Tales from the Trenches. Okay, this is a new segment where we want listeners to send in the most ridiculous, funny, unhinged stories, and then we read them on the podcast live. We do not read them prior. And so you can send your story to the veterinary roundtable at gmail.com if you have one. So here we go for this one.
It's a big one.
Hi, folks. I have a great story from my summer job after my first year of vet school. I was assisting the clinic owner, we'll call him Greg because that's his name.
Okay, good. Better than Mark. Okay, good.
For the
Yeah.
day, and we had this Frenchie come in. Honestly, we saw this dog once a week for anal gland issues, but he was an older boy and had his right eye removed previously. Obviously, he sounded like someone was running over a whoopee cushion over and over and over again. Classic brachycephalic respiratory sounds. It was about the 7th anal gland expression for these guys, and the owner, who was a young, recently married marketing specialist, had brought her husband along. who is an engineer. At this point, the owner had seen enough expressions to do them on her own, and she asked if she could be taught it in order to save some money. The doctor empathetically said, "For sure, I'm sure you guys have lube at home. You might want to buy some gloves." To which we all snickered. He quickly glanced around the room with a quizzical look and then asked, "You guys do have lube at home, right?" Homie didn't even realize what was wrong with the first question. So I said, "Greg, you can't just ask people if they have lube at home." And he actually said, "Why? It's just KY jelly." I then had to remind him that not every job requires lube, and these people do not do those types of jobs, so the only reason they would have lube at home is for the bedroom. Greg got really pale really quickly and practically ran out of the room. The poor husband seemed torn between laughing and being angry at the doctor for asking his wife if she had lube at home. I do believe they still come to the clinic, but I don't think we'll ever have to have that conversation again. With love from Saskatchewan, Canada, Jerry.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask somebody that.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I think you would say Vaseline, like lube. I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between.
If I teach owners how to do an anal gland expression, I say these are the supplies you'll need.
Yes,
that's all I say. I don't.
Oh, these are the supplies you'll need.
I'm not going to say you got lube in your nightstand.
Right in your nightstand.
Yeah,
you have some hanging out there, right?
That's what I was going to say. Is you just need to say we use lube here.
Oh God.
Or if they ask about it, I say you can probably purchase it at a CVS.
Yeah.
Not you got lube, right?
In what section? Did you tell them what section to go to?
Greg, we're gonna have to remember that now. Greg, Greg,
that's his name.
Damn
you
it,
can't
Greg.
just go asking. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Jeez, Greg.
Oh, Greg. Okay.
That was funny. Okay, case collections.
You want me to go first this time?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
do it.
I'm going to read the history because I wasn't there when the owner gave it, so I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. So we had a 6-year-old, almost 7, male-neutered Labradoodle come in on Tuesday. So he presented for bruising. That was first noticed actually by his groomer. So this was this past Tuesday. He had a fall on like last Thursday or Friday-ish. And then the groomer noticed the bruising on Saturday when she was giving him his bath and doing his haircut. So the fall incident, he just like kind of tripped going down the stairs. But the owner said he recovered really well from it. There was no concern by any means. He recently underwent a dental, in all of his so he was a new client to us. So his previous clinic had done a dental. Everything was normal. He recovered fine. His pre-op blood work, great. No concerns. He had been acting fine up until Tuesday morning when she brought him in. He had refused his breakfast. His drinking, urination was normal. No vomiting, diarrhea, coughing, or sneezing. And then so the bruising was the main concern for the owner. So Dr. Pulse went in and did her exam. The bruising was extremely severe, so she was very, very concerned. So I have show and tell pictures so I can show you guys just so you can follow along a little bit better. Okay, so when he came out, so after Dr. Pulse went in and did her exam, she came to me and she's like, okay, I'm really concerned about this dog. Get a treatment plan together. He had severe bruising in his inguinal area that went from like his groin area all the way down to his toes on his back end. His hocks were also very, very swollen, and he had this like weird fluidy pocket like hanging off of his chest. And so it was just really weird presentation. He also had bruising in his armpits, and kind of on his chest, but there was none like in his midsection. So this was the inguinal area.
Quill, wow. Nice. Quill, I know his breath stinks.
Inguinal area.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then his armpits, like I said, they weren't too bad, but all that was swollen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, we started with in-house blood work, and then Dr. Pulse also wanted me to take pelvic rads and like pelvis, kind of rear limb-ish, and then abdominal. So we did the in-house blood work, and he was severely thrombocytopenic, which is to be expected with the bruising. We kind of guessed it. And then I don't know if there was anything else super exciting on his blood work. Not really. His retic count was high.
Good. Yep, that's good.
His platelets, he had no platelets. That's what I just said. And that's about, like, nothing else. Like, organ values were pretty boring. So then we did the x-rays, and so the pelvic x-rays weren't anything crazy, and then we did the abdominal rads, and while Dr. Pulse was looking at him, you could see the urethra, like, at the tip of his prepuce, like the tip of his penis, you could see it clearly, and then it disappeared. She was like, okay, that's really weird. And then we couldn't definitively see the bladder on the x-ray, which she was like, okay, that's really, really weird. Because he also had, like, swelling around his prepuce, kind of. Like, it was just all swollen where the bruising was. And so she was worried about the bladder. She wasn't worried about it rupturing. She was worried about it had, like, moved. I can't think of the word right now, but, like, moved out of where it was supposed to be.
Okay.
So we had him in right lateral. We had 2 techs holding him. And then she asked me to extrude the penis, which I've done plenty of times. Well, I went to try to extrude it, and I could feel his os penis, like, farther back, but then I lost it. And with how swollen the tip of his prepuce was, I was like, I don't feel comfortable with how hard I'm having to push. Like, I couldn't feel anything. And so Dr. Pulse she was sterile, so she took her gloves off. She tried it. She also couldn't extrude it. And we're like, okay, this is really, really weird. So I went and grabbed the ultrasound machine to see if we could locate the bladder, because that was our biggest concern. And he was also, so he has a drop-off appointment. He just kept looking worse and worse. Like, he looked really bad. And he was a sweet dog. He just looked really sick. And so we got the ultrasound machine. We were able to locate the bladder, which looked to be intact and normal. But then we found this really ugly looking thing, like, near his penis area. And so we called in another doctor to look at it. And she was like, that looks horrible. I'll show you a picture of the mass.
So it was... You're down by the penis now.
Yes. So we were ultrasounding. So, like, say his penis is here on his abdomen. Yeah. We were ultrasounding, like, here, like, just right above it, like where the bladder should be. But his bladder was actually higher up in his pelvis area.
So you're in the abdomen. You're just down ventrally.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So we were ultrasounding, and we found this really, really ugly mass.
Oh.
Interesting.
Really ugly. And we suspected it to be a hemangiosarcoma. We found the spleen. The spleen was normal. All the other organs that we could find, we just did a really quick fast scan, looked pretty normal, but it's a vascular tumor, so it could have been coming off of anything. So we had the conversation with the owner of the prognosis. It was really poor. He was anemic already and everything. So, like, doing a surgery to look at it wouldn't be smart. So we ended up euthanizing him, which it just was a really, really hard case because it was a new client. She just came in. She was like, he has some bruising. Like, it'll probably just be something small. And then we euthanized him. And, like, she was just so...
And
it just smacks him. Yeah, it just smacks him in the face really hard because it's something you can't prepare for.
Yeah.
So it was just really hard, and she was really sweet, and she was like, you guys are going to be our new clinic. You were so nice and sweet. Like, it was just a really crappy case, and he was 6. Like,
oh, yeah, that's a
so
bummer.
It was, suspected to be a hemangiosarcoma, but it was just really tough.
Yeah, those are sad because you don't know they're there until they're bleeding, basically.
Yeah, and that's what the owner were like, we don't recommend taking him home because he's actively bleeding. Yeah. So it's just really weird.
Yeah, it was very weird. Very interesting. Glad you have images.
Yeah, very interesting case.
Yeah.
My case is more, again, of a, like, hey, like a processes thing.
Another PSA?
So, yeah. No, well, yeah, sort of, I guess. So I did a surgery for Dr. Dudley to acquire a liver biopsy to assess copper levels in a dog that was having liver disease. And they had previously taken biopsies, but they wanted to reassess the copper levels because they thought they were changing. The dog was having some additional issues. And so we pursued anesthesia. And anytime, like, you're doing anesthesia on a sick animal, it's always, like, worrisome. Like, you always worry about everything, right? And so we ended up doing, on this liver case, we ended up using, the dog was a nice corgi, believe it or not. And she's only 6. Again, another 6-year-old female spayed corgi, which was nice corgi. So we did not have to sedate her to get an IV catheter in. So we put the IV catheter in, then gave her a loading dose of fentanyl and then a CRI of fentanyl. And then did Ket Val induction, and then did the CRI fentanyl, and then when she was waking up, we were, like, tapering off the CRI fentanyl and then deciding, okay, do we want to use Buprenex? And then we sent her home on gabapentin, and it was great because we worked through the whole process and we were able to identify drugs that we could use for her particular condition. The PSA part is, like, the one thing that I think is really cool that we do at the clinic is, and I'm sure there's lots of people who do this, but I didn't originally do this. And so anyway, that's why I thought it was interesting. We actually think of the cases like the day before. So like we look at the cases the day before and decide what our anesthetic protocol is going to be for the case the next day. And I think that by doing so, it really allows us to plan for like contingencies. Mm-hmm. So for that liver case dog, I had on my radar, like, hey, let's make sure blood sugar is okay, because that's something they can suffer from if they're in liver failure. So hypoglycemia, the clotting issues. So Dr. Dudley ended up checking clotting factors prior to the surgery, and those were fine. But hypotension would be another thing that we were on the lookout for that patient. And then bleeding. So like, was she anemic? Prior to, no, she wasn't. Okay, we didn't have to worry as much about that. And so like having contingent plans for the potential problems that may occur always make you feel more confident when you're in surgery. And a lot of times you don't end up using them.
Yep.
But oh my gosh, when they happen, it's so easy to be like, look down at the bottom of the page. I said exactly what we're supposed to do when this happens.
Yes.
And it takes away that like panic.
Yep.
Of like, okay, did I remember that right? Was I thinking about that right? Are we go look that up and double check me? Like you have it right there.
Yeah.
And so if you don't do that, I would encourage you to do that. Now, sometimes our plans change based on the pre-surgical exam of the patient the next morning. But for the most part, most of these cases, you've seen them already the previous day or two before. So hardly ever anything changes. So by planning ahead, I feel like our mornings go more smoothly.
Yes.
The procedure goes more smoothly.
Yes.
So, I mean, like, I don't know if people do that, like, if that's just something everybody does, but do it. Exactly. So, anyway.
Pretty easy.
So, I thought that was just interesting.
Yeah.
Because it does make a big difference and it does provide a lot of confidence. And allows you to anticipate the problems. So.
Yes, especially in the sick ones.
I just realized I forgot a piece of my case.
What? What was it?
Well, we were extruding the penis to pass a urinary catheter.
Oh, well, I figured as much.
I didn't say that.
Yes.
Okay, anyway. Sorry.
We figured it wasn't for shits and giggles.
Okay, so my case is pretty straightforward. It's a 10-11-year-old, really sweet male neutered Vizsla that I pretty much see just annually like clockwork. Sweet dog. But he had gone to an ER over a weekend because he had fallen down the stairs in the home, and they did an x-ray and his femur was completely broken through. Like, I honestly, I saw the x-rays. I cannot remember if it was like it was
oblique or spiral or
it wasn't spiral. I'm pretty sure it was oblique actually, now that we say that. So then the referral or the ER facility gave the owners the option of like referral for repair and gave them, places, rough estimates, things like that. When we came back from the clinic as well, from the weekend, we reached out to say, hey, if that's not a financial option, we could discuss potentially amputation if they didn't want to go through with fixing that. Barring that the other leg was healthy and everything else. So we didn't hear back from them, right?
No, I reached out and didn't hear anything.
So then I got another note from, I think it was still the ER facility, or they had gone to the orthopedic facility, and they unfortunately found neoplasia elsewhere in the body. So the owners elected for euthanasia.
Oh, that stinks.
I know.
But
one thing uncovers another.
I know. So,
well, mid-shaft, I assume, was it a mid-shaft fracture of the femur?
Yes.
The next time you see one of those, which will be a really long time,
yes,
I want you to call me and I'm going to show you how to fix it.
Oh, or the PhD.
Yeah, sure.
No.
She doesn't touch bones.
An oblique fracture, mid-fracture of the femur is, you can run an IM pen right down there. You put a couple cerclage wires around there. Bada boom, easy access to the leg because there's not a lot of musculature around the mid. We can do it. I'll show you. It's so easy.
She can do it. She won't do it.
Yes, you would. It literally is not hard. You open up the fracture site. You drive the pen out through the hip, right?
That's
through the femur.
Disgusting.
And then then reduce the fracture and just drive it right back
She'd
down.
be like this the whole time. I love it.
Put 2 cerclage wires around there. Done.
So easy.
You could do it. I'm saying you could do it.
She could do it.
She absolutely could do it.
Could do it.
I totally get if you wouldn't want to, but just know you could.
Okay. That's good to
All
know.
you
Thank
listeners out there,
She can do a lot of
know
things.
that you can fix that.
Chooses not to.
Yes. With a little bit of instruction,
Yes.
you can fix that. My point is, like, if that was the alternative was you trying to fix it
Yes.
or amputating the leg, you absolutely should try and fix it.
Yeah.
With the owner understanding that I'm trying to fix this
Right.
because we can't afford referral.
Yes.
I'm going to try and fix it. And if it doesn't work, then we amputate the leg.
True.
But
good point.
you could totally fix it. You people out there can fix that. Don't amputate the dog's leg.
Well, I meant we
Not
offer
you,
that
I
as a
know.
financial.
I know. No, I get it. But what I'm saying is people nowadays don't feel like they can do something like that
Yeah.
because everything, whatever, that is one straightforward thing. You can't plate something.
Right.
You're not going to be able to just be like pick up tools and plate something.
Right.
But driving an IM pen, you could watch a YouTube video and do it. Absolutely.
Good to know.
Scrub in.
There are only two the humerus and the femur are the only two places you could do that. But
Okay.
don't be trying to do it in a tibia. Don't be trying to do it in a radius.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm just saying.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to Emily King's TED Talk.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
All right.
Okay. Promoting our text message feature for our podcast. So you tap on the episode in your podcast provider. You look at the top where it says send us an inquiry through a text message here. You type whatever you'd like, question, comment, concern. You do have to include your name though if you want to shout out. Otherwise it comes through as anonymous. Listener inquiries. Anyway, okay, here I go.
Yep.
Okay, go for it.
I have just recently discovered your podcast and I love it. I am currently in the process of getting my certification to be a certified hospice and palliative care technician, and I would love it if you guys did an episode on this to bring more awareness to hospice and make euthanasia be a gift and not a curse. Thank you, from Caitlin.
Nice.
Good question. That's really cool that you're doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is really
absolutely.
That
cool.
takes special kind of people to be in that kind of field. So kudos to
And
you.
do it every day.
Right.
And do it well.
Because I
Yes.
do like 5 euthanasias in a day and I'm done.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You know, you mentioned euthanasias earlier when you were talking about how the person said, oh, we're going to come back here for,
Continued care.
Mhm.
after the euthanasia. And I think that's so important that you have the ability to create, that whole thing about power of moments. Like you have the ability to create a moment for someone, even though it's in the most difficult situation, you still have the potential to create an awesome moment for
Yep.
them.
Yeah.
And when you do that, that's what you see is people saying,
Yeah.
we'll come back here. It's the worst day of their life with their pet. And
Mhm.
that's what they're saying is
Yeah.
we're going to come back here. Like that's awesome on you guys for
Yeah.
creating that.
Yeah.
And it does take more emotional attention to do that. It does, it does drain you. Like you're mentioning when you feel
Yeah.
like you're the queen of euthanasias on a day because you're like one after the other.
Right.
But it's so powerful
Mm-hmm.
and it makes such a difference.
Yep.
Yeah,
know?
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's important to take the time as well. We always allow the clients as much time as they need. It doesn't really matter how long they're there, to be honest with you. Even after hours, we just don't rush them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's always important, like once by the time the doctor goes in, there's not a lot of conversation to be had.
Mm-hmm.
But even if they feel like they want to share some stories with you, it's important to take the time, even if you have, a couple appointments waiting. I think that makes a big difference
Mm-hmm.
with caring. Like they
Yeah.
just want to be they want to be coddled and cared for in that moment.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think to your point, discussing the awareness and that it's a gift and not a curse. I think that knowing we are ending an animal's suffering and it's a non-painful process, and that's something that no matter what the suffering is, like they don't have to go through that and the owners don't have to watch that one more day it's all we really want in life is not to have our last moments be terrible, right? So I think it's I think it's the ability that we can gift that. And it's hard to navigate that conversation sometimes because sometimes you feel like you're trying to make it for the owners. I think that's the harder part of it, is getting to the decision, because you really ultimately, unless it's like a obvious, like, I don't know, bleeding out or something, and you're like, this pet will pass if you leave here without me allowing this. Like, obviously there's those situations, but ultimately, like, you just have to navigate where they're at with their pet, their feelings with it, the process of getting to this point and guiding them. I think that's harder than the actual process of euthanasia.
I agree. Yeah.
Because you don't want to, nobody wants to make that decision.
Yeah.
Even us.
That's
We
why I
don't
tell
want
owners
to.
it's an impossible decision, but it's something we get to do for our animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. And, the whole topic of hospice care is really just come on the human scene, where they have people that are especially educated in hospice care and all that, and so, we're behind, obviously, in veterinary care. And so being able to explain to people or help them understand, I think the mental image people have about hospice care is like that's completely end of life, where it's actually building quality of life around what time the person has left.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do we do that in pets, and starting to bring those types of services into your practice or be able to extend those services to clients through external sources.
Yeah.
Like we were talking before the podcast about Lap of Love.
Mm-hmm.
And, there are some veterinarians locally that will do hospice treatments or teaching clients even how to, medicate at home so that they can provide some type of quality of care, so that their pet can extend their life, a good quality of their life.
Yep.
It's always hard, but it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
It's still an act of love. That's what I tell owners.
Yep.
Like you're showing your greatest love for your pet by not allowing them to suffer another day. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And, this is such a good topic. Maybe we talked also about having somebody on the podcast that can talk to how do you bring that stuff into your practice? How do you start to develop those types of skills or what things are out there for people, so like maybe getting somebody on here that can speak to that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Because it's still an art. You still have to do it correctly.
well, I mean, how many people do we see that come in that talk about how bad their experience was?
My aunt had a horrible experience with their old dog before. I mean, I was young, but it's just like to think of people having to go through that and it not be comforting, and they like think of it as a really negative experience hurts my heart.
Yeah. It can
Because
change
it's a
their
very-
perspective
yeah.
on euthanasia too, which is sad.
And just having a pet.
Yeah.
Some people, will be
Like,
like,
I
I'm never
could
going to
never
own
go
another
through that
dog because I
again.
don't
Yeah.
want to have to go through that aspect of
Yeah.
it.
Because it was traumatic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's traumatic to a degree because you're losing a family member if you view them as that, but it shouldn't be traumatic in like the actual event of it happening, Like that's really sad to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Well,
Good question.
thanks for sharing, Caitlin.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable. Remember, send in those questions and leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode or previous one. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.